Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is our last amateur bout of the evening, and it is for the interim CageZilla lightweight title. Making his way to the cage and fighting out of the red corner, it's Mohamed Bangura.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to CageZilla 82 for our final amateur bout of the evening. And what a way to go on out here, but with a bang. A Bangura, that is. Mohamed Bangura has been cutting a warpath here throughout CageZilla, sitting at 3-1 and fighting out of Evolve Academy.
Mr. Mo Bangura. Yeah, he could definitely come up with a cool fight name there, Bangura. Looking forward to seeing this young man. Very talented individual fighting out of Evolve Academy with Coach Mike Moses. Mike Moses was inducted in the CageZilla Hall of Fame as a coach in 2022. A coach that's been in the area coaching champions and athletes for a long, long time. You know, there's a lot of coaches, a lot of teams that have just popped up out of nowhere over the past few years. He is not one of those coaches. He has been here and has really made a big impact in the MMA and martial arts community. A respectable coach that I respect a lot, and I know that Mohamed Bangura is coming in prepared for this fight. Seems like he has more of a grappling base, if I had to guess, but you know, he's going to be well-rounded coming in from Coach Mike Moses' team.
Absolutely the case. Mohamed Bangura is somebody who has been through a lot to get to the 3-1 record. A lot of fast drops, a lot of quick fights that he's had to do, and time again, he has shown himself in and out of the arena here, and so I'm super happy that he is finally getting the shot at an interim title fight. Now, whoever comes out on top of this one, notably, especially given the records of excellence that we have here, it means that if you pick up this interim lightweight title, next time up on CageZilla, you may be fighting Drew the Screw Heiss for a unification bout.
Yeah, I spoke to him about that on our CageZilla Unchained interview, which, by the way, guys, you can check out CageZilla Unchained, all of our interviews for some of our, most of our fighters here on this card here on our CageZilla YouTube channel, the full interviews. You can see some of the shorts and clips, short videos on our Instagram, CageZilla Instagram, sorry. And Mohamed Bangura, such a nice, respectful guy. I tried to draw out some fighting words from him, but he had nothing but good things to say about his opponent Byron Wilson. So you know, one of those silent ninjas, a guy that carries a lot of good respect coming from Mike Moses' gym. I know they teach respect in the respect of the martial arts, so that's something he's probably passed on to Mohamed. So really had nothing but good things to say, and even about Drew Pays. You know, he said he knew about Drew Pays. Drew Pays, our lightweight champion here at CageZilla. He comes in, puts a good pace on people, and he was looking to not only see who test Byron and see who the better man was here, but also test Drew and step out in the middle of the cage with him as well. So, he just wants to see who the better man is. He had nothing bad to say about either opponent, and definitely said he was not looking past Byron one bit.
Absolutely. I love the spirit that he's bringing to the ring. You know, he is definitely a very thoughtful fighter. But right here, when the action's about to start, you can see just how much energy is coursing through him. Coming on out to Cult of Personality by Living Color as well. Shades of CM Punk, really looking to see him make a mark. Right now, we are experiencing a little bit of a delay, as I believe that the call from the referees here was for nail clippers to come out. So maybe, just a little bit long on the fingers right here. Something that will be rectified pretty quickly before we introduce his opponent. But notably, everybody, we do have a format switch up when it comes to title fights. You get some extra rounds.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not extra rounds, but extra time. This will be 3 5-minute rounds instead of 3 3-minute rounds. So, title fights get a little extra time to impose their will. And of course, if you're fighting for a title, you are, you're held to a little bit of a higher standard. You've been in here. Both Bangura and Wilson are not newbies to the CageZilla cage. They're both used to coming in here and shining brightly under these CageZilla lights. And I'm really looking forward to this bout. One of the bouts I was looking forward to the most out of this whole card.
Yeah, I don't know if I really was expecting the full-on foot cam, but credit to everybody on the production side for getting so many shots that you typically don't see here in an MMA promotion. So CageZilla been on top of it on that front. and making sure that we're on top of our fighters' health and well-being as well, making sure Mohamed Bangura is ready to go. And honestly, taping the toes makes a lot of sense. Coming from a sumo background, the amount of times I've gotten toe injuries by not doing so is too many to count. So I'm really happy that we are getting Bangura in the ring ready to go to meet his next fighter.
Yeah, what an observation by Balajit there. Got a pedicure before his fight.
And his opponent, making his way to the cage and fighting out of the blue corner, it's Byron Wilson.
And for as much as we have gotten the opportunity to talk about Mohamed Bangura, Byron Wilson is someone with a very similar legacy. A real all-star pushing their way towards a title. This one right here is going to be a banger. A 25-year-old matching up against Mohamed Bangura's 26. He stands at 5'11", so there's going to be a reach advantage there, and 158 pounds, fighting out of the house of Muay Thai.
Yeah, this young man, Byron Wilson, great individual as well. I spoke to him and interviewed him on CageZilla Unchained as well. And he just talked about his willingness to fight and how fighters should be fighters, and willing to fight at any weight really, and being 5'11", tall guy, cuts probably a considerable amount of weight to make 155. However, it's worth noting that he did not make weight for this particular bout. He came in 2 pounds over. I spoke to him before the match. I said, "What happened, man?" I was really a little bit disappointed that not necessarily for Mohamed, but for Byron as well, because if he wins this bout, he's not eligible to receive the title, right? And I said, "What happened, man?" And he said, "Man, I weighed in on my scale at home, and it said 156. He came in on this scale, and it was 2 pounds over. So I don't know. It was just a little error on the scales, but ultimately it cost him quite a bit. But he's still coming here with the same objective, and let's send it to Chris to make the official announcement on this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds, and it is for the CageZilla Interim lightweight title. It is brought to you by our friends at Pev's Paintball and Airsoft Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier paintball and airsoft park, and the Shop Gym, the Virginia Mecca, with locations in Ashburn and Manassas. And now, starting out, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5'7" and weighing in at 155 pounds, fighting out of Evolve Academy with a record of 3 wins and only 1 defeat, it's Mohamed Bangura. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5'11" and weighing in at 158 pounds, fighting out of the house of Muay Thai with a record of 4 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 draw, it's Byron Wilson. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is for the interim CageZilla lightweight title. It is brought to you by Pev's Paintball and Airsoft and the Shop Gym. Your referee is Michael Dolman.
And I cannot wait to get this one underway, friends. Mohamed Bangura, Byron Wilson, fated to meet here to make history. Mohamed Bangura, of course, fighting for that shot at the title to unify up here in CageZilla, the lightweight championship. And already you can see the velocity and fierceness which he's coming out at. Byron Wilson trying to bring things down to his pace, but quickly we do see an attempt for a takedown coming out of the red corner, and there's the dump.
I was just getting ready to say, this is going to be a battle of grappling against the House of Muay Thai, Byron Wilson with his strikes, and it looks like Mohamed Bangura is opposing his will already with that nice takedown, nice wrist grab. Wow, some good control on top already from Mohamed Bangura, moving right to mount position, and not a good place to start from Byron Wilson.
Yeah, Byron honestly had the opportunity to try to push back against this takedown attempt, Brent. We saw actually a very low center of gravity for Mohamed Bangura. He had to make the full journey up the tall torso of this 5'11" opponent, but Byron Wilson was unable to offer the kind of resistance I'm looking for out of a fighter here in round number 1, and because of that, already you see the wet blanket come through. Mohamed Bangura is one that is perfectly happy to take this to a decision and show control throughout, as he has done in all 3 of his victories.
Yeah, he's a guy that comes out in the center and, again, wants to see who the better man is. You know, he's not trying to hurt his opponent, but he wants to impose his will on him, and he's doing just that right now. He's got his head up against the cage. He's got him in mount position. It doesn't look like Byron's even moving his hips or really has an answer here for the position. So I really hope Byron's been working on his grappling as well. He told me, he said, I don't even mind going to the ground, because I've won some of my fights on the ground as well. But again, he's not moving his hips. He's laying flat, and Bangura's having his way with him.
Yeah, right now this is just looking like zero attempts at trying to actually effectively de-push what Mohamed Bangura is doing. I'm sure that Byron Wilson is fighting for his life right now, but as you see on camera, even from these other angles, he's just unable to actually do anything to stop himself from being smothered by the shorter fighter, and in turn, I feel like the House of Muay Thai practitioner is going to be unable to stabilize here in at least this first round. And look at how much longer we have on the clock, Brandon. You talked about it before. 3 5-minute rounds. There's a lot of time where he's going to have to try to struggle in. And while we do finally see him pushing off the cage side wall, looking to pivot those hips out, this is a deathlock being held by Mohamed Bangura.
Yeah, he was trying to kind of surprise him and maybe lay in wait and then give him a surprise hoopa, which means bringing those hips up. But, yeah, Bangura wasn't having it. He's keeping a nice tight mount position, good tight hips, heavy hips, and really gonna finish out the round here, maybe on top with some domination if he doesn't finish him here.
Yeah, a lot of shots to the back of the head here, and unfortunately, given the angle that we're seeing these two fighters out, Byron Wilson is unable to really bring guard back up. And because that's the case, Michael Dolman, I gotta say, is looking upon this all and really not seeing a whole lot coming out of the blue corner as a means of response. And now look at this. With that left arm more freed up, Mohamed Bangura is only able to get more damage in, and now, in fact, has gotten that shoulder above the shoulder of Byron Wilson, completely stopping any real attempts at reversals from this opponent.
Yeah, Bangura continuing to keep a nice tight mount position, good head position, not getting hit himself. I'd like to see him posture up and land some big elbows or some big strikes, but maybe he's just sometimes when you lay on a guy like this and let him struggle from the bottom, you're wearing him out as well. There he goes with some big strikes from the top.
I do wonder, Brent, if the strategy here from Byron Wilson is play defensively, give this round up. You get a little bit more time to get back to your feet and really try to dominate here in round number 2. And expending energy in a position where you're already kind of in a losing place could be a death sentence, particularly when we oftentimes see strikers gas out hard in title fights.
Yeah, definitely when you take a guy like this, you lay on top of him, you put pressure on top of him. Even if he does come out in the second round, his power, some of his lactic acid is built up already in his arms. He's not going to be the same as if he let his hands and his feet go in the first round. So, but nonetheless, good strategy from Bangura. He definitely takes this first round with 30 seconds left here coming up, and excited to see what the second round possibly holds for Byron Wilson.
That being said, it's another 28 seconds of hell right here for Byron Wilson to try to weather. And right now, it just feels as if Mohamed Bangura is tightening his grip even more. And I know we were talking about Mohamed Bangura's in shop for a good nickname. I think Anaconda is a solid one to go for here, because right now I'm seeing no response. Byron Wilson finally trying to navigate his torso above that of Mohamed. And while he manages to buy a little bit of space, the clappers are already out.
Yeah, he finally got the half guard, but little too late, and let's get this second round underway and see what kind of strategy we got going on. I know Byron Wilson is definitely a little frustrated with that first round, but not discouraged. I saw him shake his head at his coach and say, "Hey, I'm fine. I'm gonna get back out here and hopefully change the momentum here in this second round." If I'm Bangura's corner, I'm saying, "Hey, give me a little bit more of that same energy." Heading into the second round.
All right.
I thought he looked awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, it's just so tough with Byron Wilson realizing that if you are taken down, because he's not showing any real tool set to get back up. He really only has got that one shot, that one opportunity to get notable damage and get a statement maker shot up against Mohamed Bangura, who we haven't even really talked about his resume as a striker. He is somebody who can go tit for tat in that realm, and while it maybe isn't his favorite place to be, I do think that this is still one that is very much looking like we're going to see Mohamed Bangura walk away after these 3 rounds victorious and with a shot at unifying these titles.
We'll see. We have yet to see. This second round is going to tell a lot. If Byron doesn't come out here and use his strikes like he should, then it's going to be a long night for him. But we'll see what strategy that Bangura is going to implement. Well,
all right, well, we're starting things off. Quick takedown attempt already. We are seeing Bangura crash through guard, and unfortunately, Byron Wilson is finding himself in a difficult position. That's a huge amount of leverage that we see transitioning off of the cage wall. Bangura is able to get the dump going, and already we are right back to what looks almost exactly like round number 1. Notably, though, we do have an elevated torso from Byron Wilson. That's preventing a quick sprawl. That being said, Bangura knows how to navigate these situations. We've seen it before, and once again, he's already back to full mount.
Yeah, I mean, Byron really doesn't have an answer for that takedown. You know, when I interviewed Bangura, he told me his base is wrestling. He started in wrestling. I told him by the look of his ears, I could tell. You know, he actually told me, though, hey, my cauliflower ear came from MMA, not wrestling. So, but he said he started in wrestling. He's got that base from wrestling, and you can just tell, man. I mean, when you go against a guy like him, he's got decent strikes, but once he gets you to the cage, he's going to find a way to drag you to the ground, find a way on top of you. You know, I know Mike Moses has a great jiu-jitsu game there at his gym, and I'm not sure Byron is going to be able to escape the wrath here.
Well, we are seeing that right leg of Byron get around the left leg of Bangura, and I do wonder what that could turn into. He's looking like he's trying to just twist his torso out from the far side here. He's actually able to get at least that one leg free, but over the top he attempts to go. He doesn't have a lot of room to work with, though. Once again, that is the head tangling up with the CageZilla ring wall, and now, if anything, this is just giving more of a pivot point for Bangura to get damage. He's really trying to approach from up top now.
Yeah, he does have to score some damage, though, from top. I feel like, you know, I'd like to see him do that. And you know, because Byron's, I don't think he's hurt. I think he's just frustrated. You know, he's just laying down there bottom. He's stuck. He's even scoring some big elbows himself from the bottom. And he's like, man, I wish I could get up from here. I'm laying on my back. All my big strikes that I normally land from my feet, I can't do from my back here. Ooh. And I just can't change this position.
That being said, the position is looking a little bit better for Wilson in this situation. He's got those thighs above the thighs of Bangura, and in turn, he is preventing a deeper approach. In fact, we see for the first time here, Bangura expending a lot of energy to get an explosive leap over top and go into orbit, but Wilson is denying that quite well. That long frame still benefiting him on the ground, but now back control may be given up. We will see the blue corner scramble back to his feet, and in fact, there is now the attempt to try to underhook that left arm of Bangura and get a pin of your own. Now, he's going to rotate the situation, looking for a strike up against the ring wall. We do see Bangura in a scramble, trying to get back towards the hips, gets control, but I don't know if he has the energy to take another dump.
Yeah, Wilson really trying to land some huge elbows, some huge strikes, and start to play his game a little bit. But Bangura, you know, he's got the grappling pedigree, and he knows what to do. So we'll see. We'll see if you know. We'll see if Wilson's weight plays a role. You know, he was overweight a little bit. He didn't cut those last 2 pounds. But to me, it doesn't look like it so far. Bangura is controlling the grappling and both rounds so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, and once again, he's going to be able to narrow the stance of Wilson and bring the giant toppling down. That being said, we are finally going to see Bangura expose his head. He takes a lot of shots in kind, and finally it looks like Wilson may have got his head above water. 1 minute left here in the second round.
Wow, look at Wilson. He's like, hey, huh? This works. If I throw my punches, I get a little space, and I utilize my game, I can hurt this guy.
And Bangura is looking staggered in this situation. Wilson with the second win coming through at the clutch moment necessary to try to make a statement here and take this round in his favor, if not the whole damn bout.
Quite a bit of time here left for Wilson if he decides to really fire off some strikes, but he's got him up against the cage, and that's pretty much exactly what Bangura wants. He wants this to be a grappling match. If I was Wilson, I would separate and call him to the center of the cage.
Yeah, at the same time, though, that knee coming out of Wilson shows that Muay Thai background. And when you're in this clinch situation, if you know how to navigate as a taller fighter, there's so much that you could do. And in fact, now Wilson is feeling spicy enough to try to go for a leg pick of his own.
I was just going to say, look at the wrestler there. Beautiful elbow.
And once again, Bangura's guard is just dissolving once he's withering under this flurry of blows. Doman looking in, maybe to try to break this one up. Just a few seconds left. There's the bell to call this one off. And we will see an explosive end to a second round and a real turnaround from Brian Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, who do you give that round to, right? Like, I thought Bangura controlled the first part of it, but definitely not the last part of it. And Wilson looking strong heading into this third round.
Well, Bangura may have exhausted all of his resources here. I got to be honest, Brent, so far in his short career, what we are seeing out of Bangura's side is a fighter who has an incredibly solid one trick, but he is ultimately a one-trick pony. Now the question is, can he reassert his dominance on the ground, or all of a sudden, are we going to see Byron Wilson, of all people, push through the brick wall, the Ben Askren-like control that we've been seeing out of Mohamed Bangura in order to come out on top and deny a shot at the unified title?
Yeah, this is going to come down to the third round here. You know, maybe the judges edged out Wilson there for his dominance there in the last part of the round. Bangura slow to get up off the stool.
Yeah, he's got a big cut over the eye there. And you can see Byron Wilson has the energy necessary to move it to a final decisive round. 5 minutes ahead of us, 5 minutes ahead of both of these fighters. Bangura looking ready to go, though. Hasn't put a lot of Vaseline up there, though. If that starts bleeding again, it could obstruct his vision. And in those scramble scenarios, you need every sense he got.
Yeah, he looked a little lost in the striking realm. He's got to fire off some strikes and then get those strikes to lead him to his takedown. He can't dive in blindly, of course, for a takedown, but he's got to hit Byron with something to make him respect him. Because right now Byron is firing on all cylinders, and he's not respecting Mohamed. And expert referee Michael Dolman keeping a very close eye.
And right there, we're seeing the desperation begin to seep into Bangura's game plan, trying to crash guard. In fact, just going to get shot multiple times in response. And it doesn't look like the smaller fighter now has the energy to deal with Wilson, who's reversed the clinch now inside of the corner, has the underhook control, and is now looking to actually bring Bangura down to the mat.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Byron, like I say, you gotta break here. You know, you're not try to pressure him up against the cage unless he's exhausted, which it doesn't look like he is. He's got to give Bangura back off, give him some space, and start to get some solid strikes on like he's been doing for the past at least 2.5, 3 minutes.
Oh, this is a tough situation. Bangura uncomfortable, has that leg completely isolated. Byron Wilson just able to use that superior reach advantage on all limbs in order to try to get a trip up going. Won't be able to quite bring down Bangura here and now, but Bangura notably is not showing control in this situation. Something that he has prized, something that he has won so many matches off. Right now, Brent, feels like it is escaping him.
Oh, man. Turned his back for a second there. Bangura's got to turn him to the cage and get a hold of his legs like he was doing here in the first round and first part of the second round.
Bangura feels gassed at this point, though. We will see a knee come out. Unfortunately, it's just not doing enough damage. Byron Wilson keeping those torsos close enough together to weld. There's just not a lot of acceleration to come through, especially from a shorter fighter.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with Byron not having to suffer to cut those last 2 pounds, it makes you wonder what kind of impact it's having on this fight. Bangura did, and he did make weight. Beautiful shots from Byron.
Bangura trying to keep on the stand-up, going to be dumped beautifully off of a big hook right to the temple. And now, while he is back to his feet, Wilson has full control over all the canvas, and I don't know if there's a way out for the red corner.
Expert referee Michael Dolman.
That's it! And there's a wave off! Incredible stuff from Byron Wilson, keeping the faith through round number 1 to take the victory.
Yeah, great job by Byron Wilson. Really turned the fight around. Talented fighter. I want to see him, because I think he can make this weight. He's already held this lightweight title before, so I really would like to see him. Oh, here we go with the instant replay. Beautiful right hand. I mean, he's got some excellent strikes. Beautiful right hand, and Bangura just wasn't having it. Bangura started out so dominant too, just with the takedowns and the top pressure. But Byron Wilson weathered the storm and really took this fight to him there in the last part of this fight. But once again, I think he can make this weight no problem. He's already held the lightweight title. There's a little error on the scale, and that's gonna be a little thorn in his side here. Celebrating this victory, he will not receive the interim title, but I think he's gonna step up. Let's see if he gets that match versus Drew Pace. I'd like to see that.
Yep, and here we see it one more time on the big screen. Already at this point, Bangura has just been broken apart on the defense, and now with that hook opening him up, we see just repeated shots accelerated off that right arm. Byron Wilson will take it in his own style.
Yeah, great work. When I interviewed him, he said Bangura's gonna run into something, and sure enough, he ran into something. He said it was gonna happen early. It did not happen early, and that's why I said the first round it was not going his way, but he was able to weather the storm. He had that energy heading into the last round, and ultimately finished the fight and takes the win. Not the title, but the win.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to see Bangura back up to his feet, and I really do hope that he's going to be able to right the course as well. This was a 3-fight win streak that unfortunately was snapped. He doesn't really have the energy to be here for the winner to be declared, but really the fighting spirit just to pop back up after all of that. I'm certain he's going to be back here in CageZilla looking to forge a new legacy. Yeah, they're helping him out of the cage. He took some serious elbows and strikes and punches, and Byron Wilson really utilizing his strikes to the fullest. So very talented fighter. Let's get the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Michael Dolman has called a stop to the action. 2 minutes and 38 seconds into the third round. For your winner, by TKO, out of the blue corner, it's Byron Wilson.
Like and subscribe to CageZilla.